After Magistrate Li left happily, the attendant glanced at the portrait in the Jing and Marquis Shand. Although it was enta perfect likeness, the expression and facial features clearly showed it was the Marquis' precious son. Magistrate Li is quite amusing, complaining about the young Marquis to you. My lord, the young Marquis is truly growing up. He went out to cause trouble without mentioning the Jing and Marquis mansion. How reassuring. The Jinggan Marquis smiled. Indeed, he's maturing. By the way, isn't Magistrate Li's sister married into the Pingyang Earl's mansion? The attendant nodded. My lord, regarding Magistrate Li's complaint, the Jinggan Marquis said calmly, handle it as it should be. The Jing and Marquis, I won't shield anyone. The attendant immediately understood and respectfully withdrew, summoning several guards from the corridor. The magistrate's son is also at the Flower God temple. Go fetch him and treat him as an honored guest. The guards nodded. The attendant added, I heard the magistrate's son has been asking for a beating lately. Since we manage the flower festival here, make sure he is well taken care of. Teach him. Allison, use your judgment. Yes, my lord. After the guards left, the attendant returned to the hall. My lord, I heard the crown prince sent Jing Yuan to the back mountain today. The Jing and Marquis raised an eyebrow. The crown prince? Does he want the he-she by too? The attendant nodded. Yes. Jing Yuan entered the back mountain at dawn. The crown prince is too noble to force others for the flower festival prize, he added. Although the he-she bai is known as the finest jade in the world, the East Palace has no shortage of treasures. The crown prince sent Jing Yuan to fetch the jade for its auspicious meaning. The Jing and Marquis frowned. Could he want to give it to that ordinary commoner, daughter of the Kiao family? The crown prince, infatuated with an ordinary woman, and his own good-for-nothing son was the same. Have they eaten too much fine food and now crave mediocrity? Has the crown prince arrived? Go check. Clear the flower god temple before he comes. Don't let anyone disturb him. Right away, my lord. Kia Wanyan found the most pleasing peach tree, hung a red silk ribbon on its branch, and tied a knot with her slender fingers. Satisfied with her work, a breeze blew, and the ribbon fluttered to the ground. Her smile faded, clearly displeased. Lu Jinyang returned then, after enduring her whims for so long. Venting his frustration made the sun feel warmer. Lu Jinyang. He looked at her. What now? She looked so annoyed. Who had upset her? She pointed to the tree. Cut this down. Guo Liqing, hanging her own ribbon, froze mid-action, unsure whether to retract her hand or continue. After a moment, she silently stepped back. If the tree was cut down, her ribbon would be bad luck. Lu Jinyang stared at the century-old peach tree, questioning life. Had the tree insulted her? How could it offend her by just standing there? You overestimate me. How long do you expect me to take? A day? She gave him a disdainful look. Useless, better to keep a dog. Onlookers gasped. That was harsh. Scolding someone public lie for failing a ridiculous request. Even a master would anger their servant. He Baozhu, standing closest, felt her heart race, even when cursing. She's cute, Guo Liqing thought. I've really seen it all. Miss Kiao acts so arrogant, lie even in front of the princess she does, and take her serious lie at all, and that guard does, and look friendly. Isn't she afraid of revenge? Disloyal subordinates are the scariest. Kia Wanyan snapped mute. Woof. Everyone blinked stunned. The tall, handsome youth had just barked. He Bao Huseus nearly popped out. What training is this? Master Pan's top disciple? Kia Wanyan frowned. Lu Jinyang said, dogs can't cut trees. Find someone else. She choked, frustrated. Sometimes she could NTFA Tom this. Fool's logic. No dignity. Scolding him was pointless. Kia Wanyan, you stepped on my foot and ran off. Apologize. Zhang Qian approached, face stormy. Seeing Kiao Yuhuan, he slowed down and softened his voice. Kiao Yuhuan silent for long. watched Kiao Wanyan's arrogance. As Zhang Qiyun neared, she said, "Qian, long time no see." He paused, slightly guilty. "Why, Yuhuan-ji, you're here too?" Guo Liqing's pupils shrank. Yuhuan-ji? This was the Jinggan Marquis' son, as seen in portraits. So Kiao Yihuan had told the truth. She was close to the young Marquis. Kiao Yihuan smiled gently. "I come to pray. Every year could end TMIS's this year." He forced a laugh. Right. She added, "Qian, you said you jive me the craftsman's final tong. Cow flowers today." I promised. "Miss Guo Wan, you don't team, do you?" Guo Liqing thrilled. Who expected to meet a princess and the Kiao sisters here? Now Miss Kiao would really give her a flower. And with the young Marquis' favor, it was sure. Zhang Qiyun didn't care about Miss Guo. He just thought, who does she think she is, accepting so casually? Yuhuan-ji, the flowers aren't ready yet. I'll give them to you in a few days. His voice lacked confidence. Kiao Wanyan understood. Kiao Yihuan had confidently promised a flower, believing Zhang Qiyun had given her two and would give her for more. She didn't know Kiao Wanyan had the full set. Kiao Wanyan smiled the excited smile before causing trouble. He Baozhu knew drama was coming. Kiao Yihuan was surprised. "It's flower festival. You said the craftsman finishes them today every year. Is there a problem? You said you'd give them to me here." Kiao Wanyan already were tong cow flowers. The remaining 4 could NT be unfinished. Zhang Qiyun would have given her the finished ones first, not Kiao Wanyan. Guo Liqing sensed the tension. "Maybe the craftsman wants to perfect the final work for you." Yihuan-ji, why don't we go enjoy the flowers first? Seeing Zhang Qian's evasive look, Kiao Yihuan felt a kill. He didn't give all the flowers to Kiao Wanyan, did he? Impossible, they were enemies. He promised me. She tried to calm down. If true, pressing further would only humiliate her. Right? Let's go enjoy the scenery. "Qian, how have you been lately?" He sighed in relief. But Kiao Wanyan spoke up. "Oh, why aren't they ready? The craftsman finished them early. This morning I'm wearing them." Zhang Qian glared at her, silently begging her to shut up. "Why stir the pot?" She smiled at him, then turned to Kiao Yihuan. "The craftsman made 2 sets. Zhang Qiyun gave me 1 set early. The other might still be unfinished. You should wait." Kiao Yihuan's smile faltered. Guo Liqing said, "I heard the Jing and Marquis craftsman makes only 6 flowers a year. It's amazing he made 2 sets this year." She was stupid. Zhang Qiyun had broken his promise to Kiao Yihuan and given the flowers to Kiao Wanyan in Beijing. Why cling to an unfavored commoner daughter? Kiao Yihuan's face paled, her smile rigid. Kiao Wanyan, stop. "And you shut up." Zhang Qian snapped. She tilted her head. "I am helping you. Why yell at me? I meant her." He rubbed his forehead. "Why add fuel to the fire? Young Marquis, I heard you were at the temple, but didn't expect to meet you. What an honor." An elderly man with white hair approached, bowing. "You retire tonight. I called and say goodbye. At the mansion, please allow me to do so here." He Baozhu asked, "Are you the Tong Cow flower craftsman?" "Yes, miss." Kiao Wanyan smiled. "Weren't there more flowers? Why retire now?" The old man was confused. "More? I make 1 set a year." The young Marquis took this year seriously this morning, he said. They were for someone important. So I started working at dawn. He looked at Kiao Wanyan's flowers. "So he gave them to you. These symbolize eternal beauty. But your beauty outshines them, miss. Young Marquis is lucky. Everyone. Wrong person, old man." Kiao Yihuan felt mocking stares. It was true. Zhang Qiyun had given her flowers to Kiao Wanyan. "Old man, leave if you want, stop blabbering." Zhang Qian turned to Kiao Yihuan. She cut him off. "I feel unwell. I need to rest." He Baozhu burst into laughter. Kiao Yihuan blushed, realizing her slip, and hurried away. Kiao Wanyan said, "Your Yuhuan-ji is angry." The old man sensed his mistake and fled. "I didn't Want this little devil plucking my beard and punching me? John Ki-yun gritted his teeth. Kia Wanyan, you got the flowers, why provoke her? She didn't answer, just looked at him with her clear, alluring eyes. John Ki-yun felt helpless seeing her sudden silence and said awkwardly, I didn't mean that. Kia Wanyan stepped toward him, and John Ki-yun instinctively took a step back to keep a softy distance. What are you doing? Kia Wanyan asked coldly. Is your foot better, huh? John Ki-yun was slow to react. By the time he did, his other unstepped-on foot took a fatal blow. His handsome, fair face turned livid in an instant. He covered his mouth with both hands, forcing himself not to cry out in embarrassment. He Baoju sucked in a breath. Wow, Miss Kiao is like a little overlord in the capital. The young Marquis title of Little Devil should be passed on to her. He gets bullied like this, but neither fights nor sc olds. She figures he probably likes her but is too green to recognize it. At this age, a bold guy like the young Marquis can be gentle with his crush. Instead, he picks fights and causes trouble to get attention, just like 60-70 of the male classmates she knew in school. But young Marquis, take note, this only gets you called idiot behind your back. Kia Wanyan raised her chin disdainfully. Idiot. He Baoju. Well, sis does N need to curse behind people's backs? She does it to their faces. Guo Liqing felt like she was opening her eyes again. She quickly followed Kia Wanyan and He Baoju. Miss, you must have hurt your foot from kicking so hard. He Baoju raised an eyebrow. Not gonna lie, you flatter better than me. Guo Liqing added, I heard from the nursemaid that soaking feet in milk makes them tender and relieves fatigue. If you don't mind, miss, you can try it. Kia Wanyan said flatly. Okay, got it. Relieved that she wasn't snapped at, Guo Liqing gushed. You smell so nice, miss, fresh and elegant like a blooming epiphyllum in moonlight. I've never smelled such an amazing scent back home. Coming to Beijing, I'm finally seeing the world through you. He Baoju shive red, seeing Kiao Wanyan clearly pleased by the flattery. She suddenly felt her status threatened. Kiao Yihuan hurried away from the foot of the back mountain. It was noon, and many people were there for the outing. She quickened at her pace toward the flower god temple, but slowed when she heard people at the Moon Gate talking about the crown prince. I heard it straight from the Jing and Marquis men. How can it be fake? The crown prince's personal guard entered the back mountain at dawn. Yes, sure to get the he-she by this year. Who dares to compete with the crown prince? But does the East Palace need the he-she by? Why does he want it so bad? Who knows? Maybe it's auspicious for flower festival. He might give it to some noble lady. I heard he likes Minister Kiao's eldest daughter. Could it be for her? Possible. Let's go. Heard the crown prince is coming, and they were clearing the flower god temple. As the voices faded, Kiao Yihuan's anger subsided. Miss, the crown prince is so good to you. He's been too busy to see you. But this he-she bai must be adjeft to make up for it. Kiao Yihuan blushed. Don't talk nonsense. She lowered her head, her expression relaxing involuntarily. But he does care for me. I knew he would easily despise me. Seeing her calm down, Xiaoying felt relieved. Miss, let's check out the flower god temple. They were clearing outsiders. But you were not an outsider to his highness. Xiaoying carefully said what would please Kiao Yi Huan, though the young Marquis is closer to Kiao Wanyan. Miss still has the crown prince. She witnessed firsthand how much he cares, even defying the empress for her. He won't change his mind easily. The flower god temple was indeed cleared. When Kiao Yihuan arrived, she was blocked outside. Xiaoying announced their name, and a servant went to report to the Marquis, returning rudely. Miss Kiao, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and His Royal Highness the Jing Wang are worshipping inside. Why must you enter as a young lady? Kiao Yihuan's face froze. Xiaoying quickly said, My miss dropped her handker. chief inside. If someone finds it, her virtue will be questioned. The servant replied, don't worry. Miss the Jing and Marquis Mansion won't let that happen. When the Jing and Mansion staff refused to budge, Qiao Yihuan's shirt sank. Can you take responsibility if something goes wrong? Rest assured. Miss the Jinggan Marquis Mansion can. A deep male voice came from behind. Qiao Yihuan turned, vaguely recognizing the man but unable to place him. The Jing and Marquis personal attendant, worshipping by the crown prince and Jing Wang is a state matter. Please forgive me for stopping anyone who disturbs them. Qiao Yihuan failed to enter. She watched the crown prince and Jing Wang emerge from the temple from a distance. The crown prince didn't even know she was there. Xiaoying glanced at her. Miss, His Highness will still give you the jade pendant. We'll have another chance to see him. The Jing and Marquis attendant watched their backs. The Marquis had also said the crown prince intended to give the he-she bai to Miss Qiao. I'm surprised elder brother found time for the flower god temple amid his busy schedule, he Yanli said without warmth. But his self-address made his arrogance clear. He Hu said calmly as crown prince. Praying for the country is my duty. He Yanli chuckled. I heard you sent someone to the back mountain at dawn. If you want the he-she bai, just ask, I can give it to you. Why go to such trouble? He Ziyu ignored the mockery. The he-she bai, obtained on Flower Festival, carries a different meaning. Perfect for gifting. He Yanli fell silent, looking at him. Gifting? To whom? Qiao Yuhuan, in a remote meditation room. Li Shu Cheng took ages to recover enough to remove the rag from his mouth. He struggled to his feet just as Magistrate Li, unable to find him elsewhere, located his precious son in the back courtyard. Cheng, what happened? Who beat you? Did that brat find you again? Don Tori father saw the Jing and Marquis, and he promised to find that brat and avenge you. Li Ziucheng grabbed his father's hands, snot and tears flowing. Father, Magistrate Li was heartbroken. Oh my son, don't cry. When the Jinggan Marquis finds that brat, he'll punish him severely. Li Ziucheng wiped his tears. Father, do you know who beat me at the temple gate? And who just beat me now? Who? Magistrate Li asked curiously. Help to sit up, Li Ziucheng said. The ones who just beat me were sent by the Jing and Marquis. They said I was the prefect. San and an honored guest brought me here. Then said my skin needed loosening. Magistrate Li froze. Son, what are you talking about? Why would the Jing and Marquis send people to beat you? A thought struck him and his pupils shrank. Voice trembling, that brat would end TB. Li Shu Cheng wanted to die from bad luck. Who knew? He'd run into the Jing and Marquis' son in a temple crowded with thousands. Talk about rotten luck. It shimmed the young Marquis of Jing and Mansion. Magistrate Li staggered to the ground. His son was beaten by the Marquis San, and he just asked the Marquis to arrest the guy for revenge. Was he crazy? The Marquis had blatant lie invited a Cheng here to be beaten, a clear act of protecting his cub. He heard the Jing and Marquis spoiled his son rotten. Sigh. A Cheng. We have to swallow this insult now that we've offended the Jing and Marquis. Rest up, and later father will take you to apologize to the young Marquis. Li Ziucheng felt bitter. On the Flower God Temple viewing platform, He Ziyu overlooked the distant mountains and saw a signal arrow rise from the back mountain, followed by a harsh gong from the pass. Someone had obtained the ribbon. Jing Yuan galloped out of the back mountain, the fluttering ribbon declaring him the Flower Festival Games champion. Qia Wanyan saw Jing Yuan from a pavilion. What he doing in the back mountain? If Jing Yuan won, didn't Yunyo go for nothing? He Baozhu was eating a flower cake. Before she could speak, Guo Liqing smiled and said, it's the journey that counts. Though Miss Yun didn't teach it the ribbon, she'll be happy to have joined the games. He Baozhu stopped chewing, annoying Guo Liqing. The sense of crisis is rising. Guo Liqing added, Miss, who is Jing Yuan? You seem to know him. Qia Wanyan said flatly. He's the crown prince's personal guard. Guo Liqing paused. So the crown princess' personal guard is called Jing Yuan. She looked over. Miss, do you think the crown prince sent Jing Yuan to get the he she bai? Who does he want to give it to? Qiao Wanyan gave her a look. How is that your business? Why so curious? He Baozhu snorted inwardly. Serves you right. Guo Liqing smiled awkwardly but said nothing more. Just then Li Xiucheng showed up, looking for Zhang Qiyun but failing to find him. He spotted the bratty woman who had him beaten after 3 beatings in one day. Li Xiucheng was furious. Father, it's because this woman seduced me that I offended the young marquis. Magistrate Li looked toward the pavilion, not from Beijing. He didn't know these ladies' backgrounds. They might be commoners, but if they were nobles, he couldn't afford to offend them rashly. After warning his son, he led him toward the pavilion. Li Xiucheng pointed at Qiao Wanyan. Father, it's her. Magistrate Li glared at him. Be respectful. How could he be so reckless? Without knowing the lady's family, he forced Asmal. My son was foolish to offend you. May I ask your family background so we can apologize properly another day? Qiao Wanyan skinned Li Xiucheng's clenched teeth look and drawled. My father is the Crown Prince's Grand Council or who just started his post in Beijing this year. Guo Liqing blinked, dared not expose the lie. She just been snapped at for a bod flattery exposing the lie would only worse. Magistrate Li's smile vanished, and he stood straight. A 6th rank official's daughter dare to be so arrogant? Li Xiucheng raged. Father, if this shameless woman hadn't seduced me, I would end they've offended the young marquis. Qiao Wanyan raised an eyebrow, eyeing Li Xiucheng carefully. I seduced you? She burst into laughter, as if hearing the world's funniest joke, laughing until tears welled up. He Baozhu was speechless. As expected, a confident man is mass-produced everywhere, born with the skill to lie through his teeth. Magistrate Li said coldly. A 6th rank official's daughter is so shameless seducing the young marquis, and now my son seize her and bring her to apologize to the young marquis. Li Xiucheng stopped the servants. Father, let me do it. He'd suffered so much humiliation today because of her. He would be lit. Surnamed Li if he didn't make her kneel and beg. He strode toward the pavilion to drag out the arrogant bitch and teach her that rank crushes. But after 2 steps, a heavy kick hit his back. He flew into a pillar, chest aching, vomiting blood and clutching his stomach in speechless agony. He Yanli glared down at him sinisterly. What trash dares block my path? Magistrate Li was about to turn around and see old, but when he looked up and saw that the person in front of him was Prince Jing, the words that came to his mouth were swallowed back. When Prince Jing returned to Beijing through Tengzhou, he personally led the officials in Tengzhou to kneel and greet him. How could he not know this evil god? Even though he felt sorry for his son, he quickly saluted. Your servant pays homage to Prince Jing. He Yanli scolded, and unruly eyes didn't he even look at Magistrate Li, and his gaze was firmly fixed on the bastard lying on the ground, clutching his stomach in pain but unable to say a word. Colliding with this king, the crime deserves death. When Magistrate Li heard this, he immediately knelt on the ground. Please spare my life, Prince. My son knows his mistake. Please spare my life, Prince. He should end they've come to this year's flower festival, and he has just caused so many disasters and offended so many dignitaries. A touch of amazement welled up in Guo Liqing's face. Before coming to Beijing, she had seen portraits of the Crown Prince and Prince Jing. She thought that the people in the painting were already beautiful, but she didn't know that seeing them in person was far more handsome than the painting. Know your mistake? If a word of knowing your mistake can solve the matter, why do we need the government office? Magistrate Li knew that this master was arrogant and defiant. He was dissatisfied with such arrogant words, but he also knew that even if he sued the emperor, he would only swallow his anger. Prince, my son did not deliberately block the prince's path, but because the daughter of the crown princess, Grand Council or seduced my son and also seduced the young marquis, I was about to take her to apologize to the young marquis. He Yanli subsidian-like eyes were covered with a layer of cold frost. His gaze gradually moved away from him and fell on the familiar figure in the distance. The moment he saw her, He Yanli's breath was slightly blocked. After a while, he looked away and stopped looking at her. Who is the daughter of the Crown Prince's Grand Council or? Guo Liqing looked at Prince Jing and then at Qiao Wanyan, wondering in her heart whether she was the daughter of the Crown Princess, Grand Council or at the moment. Guo Liqing didn't know whether to answer, but someone helped her speak. Magistrate Li immediately pointed to Qiao Wanyan, and while being respectful, he also threw dirty water on her. Prince, it's the woman dressed in fancy clothes. She seduced the young marquis and my son at the gate of the Flower God Temple, and then guided my son to teach Ellison to the young marquis. She is really a snake-hearted woman, Magistrate Li said earnestly. Prince, the Flower God Temple is run by the Jing and Marquis mansion. How can we tolerate such a snake-hearted woman making trouble everywhere? Please see clearly, Prince. He Yanli. Snake-hearted? You describe it well. Magistrate Li smiled awkwardly. Your servant thinks that the Jing and Marquis is so hard-working in holding the flower festival, so he should end let such a woman pester the young marquis. I was going to take this woman to apologize to the young marquis, but I didn't expect to collide with the prince. Prince, you see, He Yanli said lightly. Zhang Qian is useless, just the only son of a marquis mansion. Why would she seduce Zhang Qian? She even abandoned a prince like himself, so how could she take a fancy to Zhang Qian? Magistrate Li didn't understand. Naturally, it was to climb the social ladder. If the daughter of a 6th rank official can hook up with the Jing and Marquis mansion, it's a good marriage. To put it bluntly, it can be regarded as flying up the branch and becoming a phoenix. Prince, the young marquis is after all the only son of the Marquis mansion. For the daughter of a 6th rank official, he is a golden turtle wealthy husband. Magistrate Li explained patiently. He Yanli suddenly laughed, glanced at Qiao Wanyan's interested look. What you said is also reasonable. Why don't you go find Zhang Qian? And this king also wants to see how he handles this matter. He raised his hand, and immediately a guard brought over a chair. He Yanli sat in a flamboyant manner, clearly intending to watch the fun. The prince and the young marquis are naturally more honorable. How dare Magistrate Li refuse? He repeatedly agreed and was going to find someone, but who would have thought that when he turned around, he saw the young Marquis of the Jing and Marquis mansion coming this way. He immediately stepped forward to greet him, but Zhang Qian didn't even look at him, and looked at Qiao Wanyan angrily, who was now like a person who has nothing to do. Got a problem with your eyes? Wide open. He Yanli's lazy voice sounded. Zhang Qian then noticed that he was also here. Who has a problem with their eyes? I'm staring at her. She stepped on me twice and called me an idiot. Shouldn't it stare at her and smile at her and say hello? He Yanli raised his eyebrows, and the corner of his mouth curled up a mocking smile. Zhang Qian didn't expect him to help him for the sake of being good brothers when he was a child. You apologize to me. Magistrate Li Sha was about to drop in surprise. What kind of courage did the daughter of the Crown Prince's Grand Council or have? She stepped on the young marquis twice and called him an idiot. Did she not want to live? Or did she have a grudge against her family and bring hat red to her family? But this is a good opportunity. As long as all the faults are pushed on her, he can explain it to the Jingan Marquis. The young Marquis is Annabelle Man. This woman is so arrogant that your servant is willing to teach her rules for the young Marquis. Zhang Qian turned to look at him, his tone bad. Who are you? Magistrate Li said. Your servant is the prefect of Tungzu. My son Li. Shu Cheng offended you for armament. I hope the young Marquis will not blame him. Zhang Qian glanced at Li Xiucheng. who was lying not far away clutching his stomach. His expression moved, and his hand was faster than his mouth. He punched Magistrate Li in the face. So it's your son. You failed to teach your son and collided with this young master. I think you also deserve a beating. Guo Liqing felt that she had seen too much of the world today, and she didn't want to see it anymore. Zhang Qian said unhappily, "You teach her rules for me. Who do you think you are? How dare you take action for me? This young master will avenge his own revenge." Magistrate Li covered his eyes and could nt believe that he had just been punched. This young marquis is indeed a little devil, and he has no etiquette rules at all. He was also the prefect of Tungzu. Qiao Wanyan watched the scene with interest. This was much more interesting than worshipping and praying and enjoying the red and outing. She picked up a piece of 100 flour cake and put it into her mouth. Before she could swallow it, she heard Zhang Qian shout, "Qiao Wanyan!" Qiao Wanyan was startled and coughed. Yanli frowned and scolded in a deep voice. "What are you shouting for? You're hurting this king's ears." Zhang Qian twitched the corner of his mouth. "I made the person you hate the most in your life cough, and you don't even applaud 3 times. But you still yell at people?" Qiao Wanyan directly threw the 100 flour cake in her hand at Zhang Qian, but Zhang Qian reacted quickly and dodged to the side. The 100 flour cake landed firmly on Magistrate Li's face. Yanli frowned even more. That 100 flour cake had been bitten by her and then hit the face of the prefect of Tungzu. "Just peel the face off." Magistrate Li was shocked and angry. The name Qiao Wanyan was so familiar. He always felt that he had heard it somewhere. After thinking for a long time, his heart sank, and he looked at the woman in the pavilion in disbelief. Qiao, the Minister of Revenue, seems to have the surname Qiao. How could the daughter of a mere crown princess, Grand Council, or have the courage to show the young marquis face? Unless the woman had a noble status and great backing. Where else could this backing come from except from the father status? Just like he worked hard to climb to the position of prefect, his son could run amok in Tungzu. Magistrate Li guessed but didn't dare to confirm that this was the case. If this woman was really the daughter of Minister Qiao, then he himself, a Yan's sister, Yunyo, ran over crying and said pitifully, "Idn't he get the ribbon? I list, a Yan's sister, hug me." Yanli frowned, and the guard behind him immediately stepped forward to stop Yun Yao and prevent her from entering the pavilion. The guard said in a deep voice, "How dare you make Anawis in front of the prince?" Yun Yao glanced around and finally saw Yanli sitting upright on the chair, and immediately became Hone Street, and didn't dare to say a word. Xiuan walked to Qiao Wanyan's side and didn't he understand the current situation? Why were both Prince Jing and the young marquis here? But she had seen the man lying not far away in the morning. He was the son of the prefect of Tungzu, who had disturbed the Miss Peace. Magistrate Li asked carefully, "Dare to ask the girl's surname is Qiao. Are you sure you are the daughter of the Crown Prince's Grand Council or?" Xiuan frowned. "What crazy talk are you talking about? My miss is the daughter of the Minister of Revenue. What Crown Prince's Grand Council or?" When Magistrate Li heard this, his eyes opened and closed and he fainted. Li Ziucheng, who was lying on the ground, also looked up at the woman in shock. The daughter of the Minister of Revenue? No, it's impossible. She clearly said just now that she was the daughter of the Crown Prince's Grand Council or? Xiuan coldly snorted and said, "So what? Our miss likes to tell little lies when she is free." Li Ziucheng burst into tears directly. Deceiving people. A dignified noble lady actually deceives people. It killed him. Zhang Qian was about to explode with anger. "What are you doing? Are you all blind and come to interrupt this young master swords? Qiao Wanyan, you apologize to me." At that time an attendant came over. "Princess young Marquis second miss. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince invites you to move to Ling Kong Pavilion for lunch." Zhang Qian. Qiao Wanyan was a little surprised. She had just thought that only Jing Yuan had come, and the crown prince had not come, but she did not expect that the crown prince had also come. In the storybook, he never came to the flower god temple every year. According to what actually happened, he really never came once. Why did he come this year? Qiao Wanyan got up, and he Baozhu finally got back a game, pretending to be generous and saying, "Does Miss Guo want to come together?" Guo Liqing was a little embarrassed. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince is of noble status and didn't he call me? How dare he go with the princess and the second miss to be annoying? The princess is the sister of his Royal Highness the Crown Prince, and the second miss is Annabelle Lady in Beijing and is excellent in herself. Naturally, she is also treated and taken care of by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. How can I compare to the two? Qiao Wanyan glanced at her. Come together and say you are accompanying me. Guo Liqing's face showed overwhelmed by an unexpected favor. Second miss is truly Amadel of noble ladies. Thank you, second miss. He Baozhu. Why did she have to be talkative and show off? He Yanli watched Qiao Wanyan get up and leave, and then noticed the tong cow flower in her hair. His gaze inadvertently darkened, and he looked at the back of Zhang Qi-yun following up, and the corner of his eye revealed evil malice. Prince, how should we deal with the father and son of the prefect of Tengzhou? He Yanli got up and his handsome face like a god showed a touch of frost, like the ice and snow in the extreme north, with cold indifference and coldness. After all, he is a prefect. If this king disposes of them openly, would end the give the crown prince a handle to accuse me? The guard didn't dare to speak. You haven't done such things before. He Yanli walked a long way before saying lightly, it's common to encounter bandits on the way back to Tengzhou. It's dire fate to die at the hands of bandits. The guard immediately responded, yes, prince. He Yanli closed his eyes, and after a moment of silence he said, this king is very displeased with that old thing's face. The guard paused. This subordinate understands, prince. Don't worry. In Linkong Pavilion, Qiao Yihuan immediately got up when she saw everyone coming. Yihuan pays homage to Prince Jing and Princess. He Yanli didn't look at her and walked straight in. Qiao Yihuan immediately stepped aside and didn't dare to block the way. He Baozhu nodded slightly and didn't he answer. Qiao Wanyan smiled and said, sister, why are you here? We watched a good show in the pavilion just now. It's so pity you didn't see it. Qiao Yihuan smiled. I felt a little uncomfortable and planned to find a place to rest. Who would have thought that I saw His Royal Highness the Crown Prince on the viewing platform? It's really a coincidence. Qiao Wanyan looked at her slightly proud expression and said, unhurried lie. Sister, you have food in your teeth. After speaking, she smiled and entered Linkong Pavilion. Qiao Yihuan's face changed slightly. She covered her mouth with one hand and dealt with it with her tongue, but she didn't feel the vegetable leaf at all. She immediately realized that she was teasing herself. Zhang Qian smiled awkwardly. Yihuan, sister, are you okay? Qiao Yihuan put down her hand and said softly, I am fine. Go in first. His Highness has been waiting for a long time. As always, she was gentle and kind, but Zhang Qi-yun felt that such Yi Huan's sister was a little strange. She was clearly so angry just now that her words were confused, but now she was so calm, which was a little disturbing. He Ziyu knew that Qiao Wanyan was a beauty-loving person, but today there was still a touch of amazement in his eyes. When everyone was seated, he Xiu, as the crown prince, naturally sat in the main seat. On one side of the first seat were He Baozhu, Qiao Wanyan, Qiao Yihuan Yunyo, and Guo Liqing. On the other side of the first seat was He Yanli, followed by Zhang Qian. He Hu said, since you have come to the flower god temple, you must taste the 100 flowers banquet of the flower festival. Thinking that Prince Jing and Baozhu are both here, I invited you to have lunch together. Qiao Wanyan's eyebrows were curved. It's so honor for this subject. The 100 flowers banquet looks delicious. and I must have a good meal today. He Hu's expression was gentle. Eat more if you like. He Hu secretly looked at Zhang Qian, only to see Zhang Qiyun staring at Qiao Wanyan sitting opposite him. He Yanli said in a leisurely tone, "She's just talking. Brother, do you really believe it? A person who loves beauty like life will eat until they are full. Of course, except for osmanthus cake, which is the only thing she can hold back." He Hu said indifferently, "It's good that she has the intention. Why care about so many empty things?" Qiao Wanyan pursed her lips into an arc, and her eyes were inlaid with fine light. A pair of shallow dimples appeared, revealing a touch of faint pink, like a beautiful flower kissed by the breeze in spring. He Yanli was irritated by this shy smile and drank the wine in his cup in one gulp. Brother is really generous. I wonder if he can always be so generous. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Qiao Yihuan clenched her skirt with both hands under the table and suddenly spoke softly. "Wanyan is dressed like a flower today, and I am very happy to see it. However, without the whole set of Tong Kao flowers given by Qiyun, no matter how exquisite the hairpin is, it is not worthy of this 12-panel fairy dress that mother spent a lot of money making for her sister. This 12-panel fairy dress is very expensive. Dozens of embroiderers were invited to start making it from the end of last year. It was finished just after the new year, but unfortunately, Qiao Wanyan was not satisfied and reworked it. It took time, material and financial resources to get such a beautiful dress." Qiao Wanyan smiled sweetly. "Sister also thinks I look good today?" Qiao Yihuan was slightly taken aback. She didn't expect that she didn't have any panicked expression, but asked herself like this. In front of the crown prince, she accepted a whole set of Tong Kao flowers from the young marquis. Isn't she in a hurry? However, Qiao Yihuan could imagine what was on Qiao Wanyan's mind. For her, even if the crown prince misunderstood, it was a symbol of her charm. Her smile was a little stiff. "My sister is naturally beautiful." Qiao Wanyan raised the corner of her mouth. "I like it when my sister tells the truth." Yunyo stretched her head and smiled. "Sister Ayan is usually beautiful, but today she is the most beautiful. But I heard that a woman is the most beautiful when she wears a wedding dress. I really want to see Sister Ayan wear a wedding dress with that red Tong Kao flower. It must be extremely beautiful." He Hu asked casually. "The Tong Kao flowers given by Qian, is that the set this year?" Qiao Yuhuan didn't speak this time, but Howing behind her said respectfully, "Your Highness is right. Our Shangshu mansion has participated in this game for several years, but we have always lacked luck." She paused. "I happened to meet the craftsman who made Tong Kao flowers in Jing and Marquis Mansion at the foot of the back mountain today. After asking, I learned that Jing and Marquis Mansion also made Tong Kao flowers this year. But because the young Marquis wants to give this set of Tong Kao flowers to important people, the gift for the winner of the game has changed from Tong Kao flowers to He Shi Bai." Qiao Yihuan swept a glance at the crown princess' normal expression and could figure out his emotions for a moment. His Highness' anger and joy are not shown, and she still can figure out His Highness's attitude towards Qiao Wanyan today. Is it because of herself? Or is he really attracted to her? Or is it just because of the favor of saving his life? But such a proud, willful and domineering person was what His Highness hated most before. "Don't talk nonsense," Zhang Qian scolded. "What important person just?" Zhang Qiyun was a little embarrassed. He was embarrassed to say that he had misunderstood Qiao Wanyan before, and that set of Tong Kao flowers was adjived to apologize. After hesitation he said that set of Tong Kao flowers is quite suitable for her, so I gave it to her casually. I also gave it to Sister Yihuan, but the craftsman hasn't finished it yet. He has decided that he must let that old man make another set for Sister Yihuan. It's not good that he broke his promise," He Hu said. Aren't you afraid of being gossiped about by acting so reckless? Lie. Zhang Qian didn't understand. What does your highness mean? I just gave asset of Tong Cow flowers. What's they gossip? He said in a deep voice. Aren't you afraid of rumors that you are in love with the legitimate daughter of the Minister of Revenue and bring unnecessary trouble to Wanyan by giving such eye-catching Tong Cow flowers to an unmarried boudoir woman? Wanyan is still young and doesn't understand these things. Don't you understand? Zhang Qian blinked. He was only a few months older than Qiao Wanyan. Why did the Crown Prince Swords make it seem like he was more than 10 years older than Qiao Wanyan? However, he really didn't think of this. Come to think of it, it's shoes to hairpin and jewelry. The folk customs of Deu are not as strict as those of the previous dynasty. It's no thing to give gifts to the opposite sex of the same age. How can it be taken to such an extent? Zhang Qian said in a low voice. Then you can wear it at home in the future and don't wear it when you go out. Who are you to control me? Qiao Wanyan said unhappily. If she doesn't wear such a beautiful Tong Cow flower and can only stay in Shangshu Mansion, won't she be to death? Zhang Qian clicked his tongue. Aren't I doing it for your own good? Why can't you tell good from bad? He frowned. Why are you fierce to her? She is still young and a little spoiled. You are much older than her. Don't you know how to let her? Zhang Qian began to doubt life. No. Is he wronged? He never got any benefits in front of Qiao Wanyan. He was either slapped or stepped on. Didn't the let her enough? If it were someone else, he would have killed him. What's more, what was he fierce about just now? Ziyu took back his disgusted sight. He used to think that the young Marquis of Jing and Marquis Mansion was just too arrogant. But now he seems to be displeasing in every way. Guo Liqing didn't say a word. No, if she had known that this lunch would be so uncomfortable, she would never have played tricks and followed. Is this how the top dignitaries in the capital get along with each other? One adds to the trouble of another, and she feels that the atmosphere is so cold that she can't breathe. The people in the game can't see clearly, but she, an outsider, can see clearly. Although the second miss has a prude temper, she is quite favored. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince protects her like a sister. Sure enough, the favor of saving her life is different. Yan Yao was so greedy that she swallowed her saliva and looked eagerly at a plate of 100 flour cakes nearby. Out of the corner of her eye, she secretly saw that no one was looking this way. She sneaked a piece of 100 flour cake under the table and lowered her head to eat it secretly. Guo Liqing was sitting next to her and sighed in her heart. The situation was about to be tense, but this girl still had the mind to eat. Envy youth is good, Zhang Qian muttered discontentedly. Spoiled and willful, not as gentle and magnanimous as Sister Yi Huan. Ziyu said in a neither cold nor hot tone. People have different temperaments, and there are both good and bad. Yanli chuckled. Brother, who do you think is good and who is bad among the Qiao family's daughters? Yanli never speaks, but when he does, he stabs people in the heart. Everyone looked at the Crown Prince, and Baoju rubbed her hands excitedly. Can this kind of plot be staged every day? She is bored to death without a mobile phone in ancient times. It's so exciting to play so big today. Qiao Yuhuan didn't look at anyone, just lowered her head and looked at a cup of tea in front of her, but she also looked forward to His Highness Sancer. Zhang Qian looked at Qiao Wanyan with interest, looking like watching a joke. Unexpectedly, Qiao Wanyan just looked at him, snorted, gave him a white look and looked away. Suddenly, the smile on Zhang Qian's face disappeared. Yan Yao was a little choked when eating the 100 flour cake. Everyone present was silent and waiting for the Crown Prince to speak. Only Yan Yao could see the cold atmosphere at the moment and muttered, who is good and who is bad? Anyway, Sister Ayan must be good. She took me with her, gave me delicious food and drink, and let me play in the capital. There is no one better than Sister Ayan in the world. Xiaoying looked at her with a frown. Children, really follow whoever gives them food and drink. The second miss just relies on having a good mother, and spends her grandfather's money to buy a good reputation. Hiziyu was silent for a moment and said lightly, "Everyone has both good and bad qualities. How can we judge whether a person is good or bad in one sentence?" He Yanli's smile did not decrease, but the cool mockery on his face became more and more visible. "Then what do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of the two daughters of the Qiao family?" He paused. It shused a casual remark. "Brother is the crown prince. Are you afraid of offending people?" He Hu's face didn't change, but Jing Yuan spoke for his master. "What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of the two young ladies of the Qiao family, prince?" He Yanli suddenly chuckled, leaned lazily on the back of the chair, and it was difficult to hide the powerful aura and nobility born of the royal family. His Royal Highness is always unwilling to say such words that offend people, to sit firmly in the position of the crown prince. There are naturally many taboas. It is what he will do to be calm on the surface and decisive in killing behind the scenes. But he Yanli is different. He always does things only to his own liking. He never cares about making others embarrassed. He can even show his face to the emperor. So this kind of thing is nothing at all. But when asked back by the crown prince's personal attendant, he could have refused, but he Yanli did not. He said that the crown prince had to say it even if he didn't say it. The advantage of the eldest daughter of the Qiao family is that she is gentle, kind and benevolent. She treats people of higher and lower status in the same way. She is the kindest person this king has ever seen. As soon as these words came out, everyone was surprised. No other reason, but because Prince Jing has never liked Diao Yi Huan very much. He even cut off an arm of Qiao Yi Huan's personal maid and almost killed her, just because Qiao Yi Huan casually said that she wanted to hurt Howing. She was killed first. If the crown prince hadn't arrived in time, Qiao Yi Huan would have died in the wilderness. But now such a high evaluation, even Qiao Yi Huan herself did not expect. She thought that His Highness Prince Jing had always disliked herself, but at the moment, she felt that His Highness Prince Jing did not really dislike herself. It shused that before Qiao Wanyan abandoned him, he was confused by Qiao Wanyan, so he had a bad impression of herself. But time will prove everything. Qiao Wanyan looked at He Yanli Diago, Nelly opposite, and frowned slightly, quite dissatisfied. The moment she looked at him, the dissatisfaction in her eyes was even more undisguised, and she did not avoid his sight. He Yanli found it funny. She was still that stupid look, spoiled and willful. She loses her temper when she is not happy. He Yanli added, "The disadvantage is that all the advantages are just false appearances. When encountering grievances, she can only cry, and someone will help her out. She is always the most innocent person. What kind of temperament would she show if there was no one around to support her?" But He Yanli is not interested in these. Qiao Yi Huan's face suddenly turned pale and white. She felt countless eyes on her. Her fingertips trembled slightly, and her eyes suddenly turned red. She looked up at He Yanli in confusion. "Prince, I didn't. Why did the prince humiliate me like this?" He Yanli sneered. "This king just told the truth. Can you only accept false compliments? Do you deserve this king's compliments? Everyone knows that Prince Jing's mouth doesn't accommodate anyone. But now that he has made Qiao Yi Huan so embarrassed, everyone is more cautious and afraid that they will be scolded in public if they offend him, especially Guo Liqing, who is the humblest one. Although Qiao Yi Huan is a commoner daughter, she is also the daughter of the Shangshi mansion. As the daughter of a small 6th rank official, she is nothing in the eyes of Prince Jing. Guo Liqing's secret lie warned herself that even if she gets the support of the second miss of the Qiao family in the future, she should stay away from Prince Jing. Qiao Yi Huan couldn't say a word. The fog blurred her vision. The moment she lowered her head, Clear tears fell one after another, like a broken pearl curtain. He said in a deep voice, "How can you make such a fallacy about people you don't know? Yi Huan is a good girl and is by no means as despicable as you say. He has known Yi Huan much longer than He Yanli. How can he not know what kind of person Yi Huan is? In other words, he and He Yanli have known each other since childhood. Even if they don't know Yi Huan, don't they know him?" He Yanli just sneered and didn't speak, but took a look at Qiao Wanyan. "Look how protective." Zhang Qian said, "What about Qiao Wanyan? You said Sister Yuhuan, but you haven't said her yet." Qiao Wanyan is the person He Yanli hates most in his life. He is so unforgiving to Sister Yi Huan, so Qiao Wanyan will only be worse than Sister Yi Huan, never better. He Yanli raised one eyebrow her. After that he didn't hurry to speak, but picked up the teacup and took a sip of tea and hurried lie. But in the eyes of the crowd, it was like there were too many comments on Qiao Wanyan, so he had to drink a cup of tea to moisten his throat, because he couldn't finish it for a while. Beautiful face, snake heart. People. Is that all? Is it over? Qiao Wanyan's brows and eyes were curved like the new moon, and the clear peach blossom eyes were inlaid with bright stars. Her cheeks were slightly red, and this smile was as charming as a begonia drunk in the sun. She stroked her cheek and seemed a little embarrassed to lower her eyes and say softly, "It's not that good looking." Everyone was silent again. "No." Second Miss Qiao, did you automatically ignore the last three words? He Yanli was also stunned for a moment. His thin lips slightly open, and then unconsciously pursed. The subtle expression on his face changed, and his eyes could not be taken back for a long time. He Baozhu was sitting opposite him and saw the fleeting aggressiveness and deep possessiveness in the depths of He Yanli's face at a glance. She glanced at Zhang Qian again, but only for a moment before looking away. Her gaze was like glue stuck to her little sister. Her little sister's charm was unmatched. "If you can resist, I'll respect you as a blind fool." He Baozhu finally turned her gaze to the crown prince, marveling in her heart that the crown prince's ability to hide his emotions was just so. Although he didn't look absent-minded like Zhang Qian, he could resist her little sister's seedaled appearance. He Baozhu let out a long sigh of relief in her heart, then turned her gaze to Qiao Wanyan beside her, with an anti-smile on her face. "Cute, so cute. I really want to Rua. Who wouldn't want to have such a daughter?" The first day of envying Madame Shangshu, Qiao Yi Huan saw that the crown prince's gaze was always on Qiao Wanyan, and she gently coughed. Everyone withdrew their thoughts, and Zhang Qian just realized his gaffe, and said sarcastically with a straight face, "Did you not hear the last three words?" Qiao Wanyan withdrew her smile, gave him a glare and looked at He Hu. "Your Highness, he is fierce to me." He Yanli looked at her pretending to be good and clever in front of the crown prince, and a cold air rose between his eyebrows. He Hu said in a deep voice, "Can you be more peaceful?" Zhang Qian pouted. Why didn't they find out before that she was so good at complaining? Like a child she even played the complaint. Xilan looked at her young lady with an anti-smile. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Howing pouring tea for Qiao Yi Huan. But after looking at her young lady twice, she focused on Howing. The next moment, the teapot in Howing Shan suddenly leaned towards Qiao Wanyan. Xilan quickly pressed Howing Shan and tilted it towards Qiao Yi Huan. Howing was taken aback. Before she could speak, she saw Xilan take the lead. "You have to be careful in front of all the nobles, and don't close the face of the Qiao family. If I hadn't supported your hand, the tea in your teapot would have been poured all over the eldest lady." She won Tive Showing, a chance to slander herself, but even so, Qiao Yi Huan's dress was inevitably stained with a wet spot. Qiao Yuhuan frowned slightly, and said softly after a while, "It's okay, Showing didn't mean it. I'll just change my clothes." He Hu said, "Jing Yuan, send a maid to accompany you." Qiao Yuhuan stood up. Thank you, Your Highness. After speaking, she saluted everyone and left Ling Kong Pavilion gracefully. Zhang Qiyun was diagonally opposite Qiao Yuhuan, so he naturally saw Howing's action just now. Her hand had initially tilted towards Qiao Wanyan. If Xilan hadn't reached out to support her hand and used too much force, Sister Yi Huan's clothes would have been stained with tea. Zhang Qiyun looked at the back of Xiaoying at the door and quietly withdrew his gaze. Qiao Wanyan said softly, Xiaoying is always so rash. If it weren't for my sister's trust in her, the Shangshu mansion would not have such a rude and unruly person serving by my sister's side. Qiao Wanyan looked worried for her sister, but she didn't care at all. Such a fool staying by Qiao Yuhuan's side is much better than a person who is careful and knows how to advance and retreat. Like Wei Mo, the personal maid beside the 10th princess, by the enemy's side. She can rest assured with a fool. He Yanli said in a deep voice. Brother Sancer has been given to us yet. Everyone sayas turned to the crown prince again. He Hugh said lightly, Yuhuan is a weak and kind woman, and her heart is pure and kind. Not just in appearance, but her shortcomings are also obvious. She is soft-hearted and compassionate, and is easily used and bullied. How many times has Yuhuan been deceived by those little beggars and taken away her major monthly allowance, so that she is not like those official ladies who have spare money to buy rouge, powder, hairpins and jewelry. She is too soft-hearted. When she sees the poor people pretending to be pitiful, she can't help but feel compassion, but she herself is not well off. Now she is still serving porridge to relieve the poor and can bear to see the sufferings of the world. When he first met her, an unspeakable emotion rose in his heart, and that feeling was like being destined to meet her. He Yanli sneered in his heart blind. He Hugh paused and then said, although Wanyan is arrogant, being a woman with some arrogance adds a bit of cute, true temperament. Although she is domineering, she is kind at heart and will cry for the suffering people. Everyone was a little confused. Is this the end? Zhang Qiyun could believe it. Qiao Wanyan's shortcomings could be counted for 3 days and 3 nights, but the crown prince just passed it by lightly. Qiao Wanyan smiled. Your Highness is so accurate in judging people. He Ziyu smiled. Second miss. Qiao is not without shortcomings. He just didn't say it. Last time in the palace, he experienced that if she was angry, she was very difficult to coax. It's just a casual word. Why make her unhappy and lose her temper? He Yanli felt that he should have asked in the first place, but now he made her complacent. Let's eat. When the crown prince gave the order, Yun Yao's eyes suddenly lit up. While eating she muttered, Sister Ayan, are we going to release flower lanterns tonight? I've never seen what flower lanterns look like. How do flower lanterns fly without wings? After staying in Yaoshi Valley for 11 years, she only faced those few people every day. There's nothing new to eat, let alone anything fun. Now that she has been out of Yaoshi Valley for a long time, she still feels that there are too many things she has never seen. Qiao Wanyan said, lanterns can fly. Lanterns are placed in the river. Sky lanterns are the ones that can float in the air and fly into the distance. I'll take you to release lanterns at night. Yunyo smiled. Hee. Okay. After the meal, Qiao Wanyan returned to the meditation room to rest. Xilan massaged her legs, and Yunyo sat obediently at the table, writing and drawing flowers on the sky lantern. Earnestly, Miss, it was Xiaoying who did it on purpose at that time. If it weren't for this servant's quick eyes and hands, it would be you, Miss, who was wet with tea. Xilan had a look of begging for praise. Qiao Wanyan touched her head. Well done. Reward you for not having to keep watch at night. How can that be, Miss? This servant is the only one you brought with you. This time, this servant is not at ease if you don tea. Let this servant keep watch. Xilan said. It's okay. Lu Jinyang will be outside guarding me. It's very lively tonight. You accompany Yan Yao to have fun. The little girl has never seen the world, so take her to have fun. Yunyo shook her head again and again. No. I can't let Sister Ziyuan accompany me. She has to accompany Sister Ayan, Qiao Wanyan said with a smile. It's settled. I'm afraid you will be deceived. Again alone. Your Sister Ayan is tired of fishing you out. It's just ridiculously easy to deceive. Now that it's almost March, she believed it when she said that the lotus flowers in the backyard pond had bloomed and ran to see it. There are advantages and disadvantages to never seeing the world since childhood, but there are more disadvantages. Yun Heng really can't raise children. Guo Liqing had planned to say goodbye to Qiao Wanyan and go back to the capital with her family. First, the meditation rooms in the flower god temple are quota, and her family's level can't grab them at all. But she didn't expect to see Qiao Yi Huan on the way to find Qiao Wanyan, so she had to stop with a smile. Sister Yuhuan, Qiao Yi Huan had a gentle expression and a warm feeling like a spring breeze. She took Guo Liqing's hand and sat down. A Cheng, I just want to ask how His Highness evaluated me when I left the table during lunch. Wanyan and the princess have gone to rest, so I can only ask you if you are curious. You won Timan, right? Guo Liqing understood her intention and told her exactly what His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, said during lunch. No adding fuel to the fire. No missing words. Guo Liqing looked at the expression on Qiao Yi Huan's face, gradually relaxing. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince is a gentle person. Even the evaluation of the second miss does not have aggressive words. His Highness is really a very good person. Qiao Yuhuan smiled and said, you are not familiar with His Highness, so you don't know. Although His Highness is gentle, he will say what he should say and will not prevaricate for fear of offending people. His Highness is the Crown Prince, so why should he be afraid of offending others? Guo Liqing smiled awkwardly. What Sister Yi Huan said is very true. Not to mention that I just came to Beijing. Even if I grew up in Beijing, I don't have the qualification to be familiar with the Crown Prince. After all, Sister Yi Huan is lucky to be born in Beijing and be familiar with His Highness. Qiao Yuhuan was a little embarrassed. No, it's just that His Highness appreciates my temperament and gets along with me. Guo Liqing said some more flattering words, and thought to herself, sister, after a few compliments, you are still panting. Do you think I want to listen to you show off? I'm afraid I haven't seen someone like me who is worse than your family background for a long time. And these words have been held in my heart for a long time, right? Sister Yuhuan, my mother is still waiting for me, so I have to follow my mother back to Beijing. Qiao Yuhuan was a little surprised. The flower god temple is very lively every night. During the flower festival, when the lanterns are released, the sky and the river are full of flower lanterns, which are incredibly beautiful. Why don't you stay and play together? Guo Liqing still had a smile on her face. Our Guo family has just come to Beijing. Unlike sister who is the daughter of the Shangshu mansion, the meditation rooms in this flower god temple can be grabbed. What's more, although I also want to see it, it's not safe to travel at night, so I can only leave first. So that's the case. In fact, I didn't rely on my family, but I was good friends with the young Marquis of Jing and Marquis Mansion, and he would have a meditation room prepared for me every year. If you don't mind, you can live with me. Guo Liqing declined. She had seen too much of the world today, and her little heart could stand it. She had to go home and digest it, in case another scene comes at night. She thinks she is afraid that half her life will be scared away. Then I won't keep you. Be careful on the road. Guo Liqing nodded. Thank you, Sister Yuhuan. After walking away, Guo Liqing wiped the sweat from her temples. The maid beside her said, Miss, why didn't you stay? Didn't Mrs. Qiao say that you could live with her? Guo Liqing sighed. What do you know? I want to hug the thigh of the second Miss Qiao. so a hobby to stay away from the first Miss Kiao. She is not a fool. The two sisters of the Kiao family are at odds, and they are very much at odds. Before leaving from her hometown, her mother had told her thousands of times she must succeed, marry a noble husband, make her father value herself more, and step on those concubine daughters hard. Her father doted on concubines and destroyed his wife, and her mother was not fortunate enough to give birth to a brother or younger brother, so she could only strive to make her mother have the confidence to gain a firm foothold in the Guo family. But how can a daughter of a sixth rank official get in touch with those noble husbands without climbing those noble ladies? Climbing a noble lady like the second Miss Kiao in Beijing. Why worry about not being able to go to the banquets of the noble mansions in Beijing? Let's go, don't keep mother waiting. Kiao Yihuan also planned to go back to the meditation room to rest for a while and go out to play later. But at the moon gate, she saw two familiar figures under the corridor in the distance, and immediately took a step back and hid behind the moon gate. Does your highness have something to call me? Kiao Wanyan was about to close her eyes and rest for a while, but when she heard that the crown prince was outside, she had to come out. He Ziyu looked at her from such a close distance, and the tips of his ears turned slightly red, which he didn't even notice. He called you because I want to give you something. Kiao Wanyan's eyes lit up, and her light brown pupils reflected his face. Is your highness going to give me a gift? Since I was a child, I have liked receiving gifts the most. He Ziyu thought her reaction was really cute, and her temper was really like a child, pure and harmless. Kiao Wanyan showed great anticipation. He Ziyu opened a wooden box in his hand, and it was a piece of hishibi with a warm and delicate texture, which could be called a peerless product. It's hishibi, Kiao Wanyan exclaimed. Is it the hishibi prepared by Jing and Marquis Mansion this year? Such a precious thing. Does your highness really want to give it to me? He Hu responded. Do you remember the jade tablet you gave me before I went to Kingju? Kiao Wanyan paused slightly, thought about it carefully, and read that there seemed to be such a thing. However, who gave it to him? Didn't you say to lend it to him? Your highness is so shameless. I remember, so is this a return gift? He Hu said. Remember when Baozhu was assassinated? On the way back to Beijing, I was careless and was shot by an arrow. If it weren't for your jade tablet, I'm afraid I will be in a life and death situation. Kiao Wanyan opened her mouth slightly in surprise. Is this okay? This jade tablet was really not bought in vain. So you saved me again. Kiao Wanyan pursed her lips and smiled. The smile was sweet but not greasy at all, and it was extremely sweet. I am very happy to be able to save your highness. I am also very happy with this hishibi. She took the brocade wooden box and looked at the pure white hishibi inside. It will collect it carefully and take it out to wipe it every day. Kutchi has two such hishibi, both given to her by her grandfather. The style is so old-fashioned, she won't take it out to embarrass. Kiao Wanyan accidentally saw a familiar figure at the moon gate. Only half of his head was exposed, but she still easily knew who it was. She let out an ups and rubbing her eyes. What's the matter? He Hu asked. Kiao Wanyan said anxiously. Something seems to have entered my eyes, and it's very uncomfortable. Your highness, can you help me take a look?